So today I want to talk about Deku. I want to talk about him in a very different way from how I usually talk about anyone in My Hero Academia really. I want to talk about the potential of seeing a darker side to Deku. Now what I mean by that is assuming someone that he cares about greatly were to die, or at least something terrible were to happen to someone that's very close to him, someone that he has a very tight connection to, on an emotional level, say his mother or All Might. Even Bakugo to a degree, I think, because Bakugo is someone that he's looked up to for such a long time, like he said during their second fight even. Bakugo is someone that Deku has been following even closer than he's followed All Might. All Might was his idol, but Bakugo was someone a lot closer to him on a more personal level. And I think these three could be potential victims in the future, and I don't really think Bakugo's gonna die or anything, but I mean All Might is pretty much destined to die at some point, so this could be the time when this happens, but it could also be tied to someone even closer than All Might, his own mother. And I kind of want to see what would happen to Deku, assuming he revealed a darker nature to himself, whether it's, him being blinded by revenge or whatever it may be, maybe there is something about him that just clicks. However, I don't think this is going to be something that sticks with him. Like, obviously, I think at some point, if this does happen at all, it is definitely going to turn back to the light at some point. He's going to find a way to curve back to his old self, if you will. I mean, he's not going to be a completely different person or anything. He's going to be just someone that looks at things very differently. He's not going to be too uptight about living up to All Might's name whenever this phase happens, because he's going to be blinded by other things. Like, let's say it's revenge. He's going to be so uptight about wanting to avenge whoever it is that suffers whatever happens, right? And I want to see just what happens. I want to see Deku's point of view from this. I want to see just exactly what is going on inside Deku's head and just how he's going to tackle these kind of things. Because right now, Deku's been someone with a very positive outlook. You can definitely see this in his relation to Bakugo, because Bakugo has been making fun of Deku ever since he was a child, right? And he hasn't really turned to a darker nature yet, which is kind of interesting, because a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times when this sort of thing happens, you can easily drown in that negative emotion and just become a negative influence yourself. And that hasn't really happened to Deku. So I'm really curious, whenever he snaps, it's going to be something huge and it's going to have a really huge impact on him. And that is definitely something that I personally think a lot of other people as well will want to see, even if it isn't, the usual Deku that you're used to. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be temporary, not necessarily just limited to one arc. I think it's going to be a bit longer than that, but I kind of want to see this sort of inner turmoil within Deku that we haven't really experienced. We've seen it in other characters, well, not to the degree that I expect to see from Deku, but we've definitely seen inner turmoil in other characters, like Todoroki, Bakugo, a lot of other characters as well, but we've seen nothing of that degree on Deku's end, and I'm really curious if we are going to see it. I mean, obviously, we don't even know if it's going to happen at all, but if it does happen, what do you guys think is going to happen? Like, what do you think is going to be the cause of it, or how is it going to affect Deku? Like, is his personality going to warp? Is he going to do things that he'll later regret doing? Personally, I don't think he would go so far as to kill anyone, because that's way over the line of a hero. A hero's code is obviously not to kill people, so I don't think it's gonna go that far, but I definitely think Deku will do things that he will regret. Whether they're as extreme as killing, definitely not, but certainly things that is completely out of character for the usual Deku that we know. So yeah, let me know down below in the comments if you think this is going to happen, and if you do think so, I would love to know just how you think this is going to transpire. As always, be sure to Detroit smash that like button if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. This has been Chaotic Plus, and remember, Toge's waifu, Toge's laifu.